Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mukami Wambora, and today I'm having the opportunity to sit down with the one and only Benni McCarthy, the national team coach for Kenya and Bafana Bafana legend. The accolades go on and on. Benni, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi everyone, Benny McCarthy here. Thank you so much for having me.
We start with Kenya. When you joined the national team, what sort of footballing culture did you find, and how have you started to transform it into what we're now seeing as more winning ways?
Um, I was pretty surprised the amount of talent there was in the country. Like a lot of young players, a lot of um, good ability, good quality, and the thing that probably stood out was their willingness to learn. And I couldn't understand how coaches that was coaching Kenya before didn't exploit the talent that there was. And so for me, it was pretty easy just to try and manage them and give them a little bit of um, the freedom to express themselves and to become better, but managing where I where needed to. And yeah, I think they just excel at being given the opportunity by me to be free to play with limited instructions. And yeah, and I'm absolutely so glad that I took the opportunity to manage Kenya because it's been breath of fresh air, and I think it's a country that in the near future they will make so much big steps forward and to becoming one of the powerhouses in African football.
I like the sound of that. You've talked a lot about the young players. In Kenya, this is one of the first times that we're seeing so many players for different tribes in the team at once. Take us through that scouting process. Like, where were you finding these young players and how did that go?
For me, it was all just about going to watch matches, different matches, not just everybody goes and watch one team and then you basically select your team based on that team and then you get the tribal rivalry. So me, I'm from South Africa and I've been around the world as well, so I don't play into that stance where has to be Luyos or Luyas or Kikuyos. So I don't know the Kenyan culture very well, but I know the football culture. And the football culture is you select players based on their ability, on their talents, and whoever is performing the best at the time. And that's how I selected. And at the end of the day, it's Kenya that will succeed and Kenya that will progress nicely when you select based on merit, not on who should be based on tribal rivalry.
Chan was a really big tournament for Kenya as a whole, and we performed so well. How did you prepare, and did you see, the national team getting as far as it did?
To be honest, no, I didn't. I was quite fearful because of the group that we were in. It was dubbed the group of death because it had three-time champions Morocco was the best team in the tournament, and then you had DRC Congo, which also won the Chan tournament twice before, and then you had Angola, who also won Chan before and they won the Kosafa Cup just 3 or 4 months prior to that. And then it was us and Zambia. So we were the two teams that was probably fighting to not to be the last in the group. But yeah, I think, like I said, if you believe in what you have, and our squad, we developed like a really good family environment, good camaraderie. We had a lot of fun outside the football pitch, and then when we go onto the pitch, when it's time to play, and then I think the players they really enjoyed playing under me and the way I give them the freedom to express and to go out there. And yeah, we just had so much fun. And when it came down to the last game of the group, we found ourselves in number one place, and I think everybody was very surprised that we were number one. But the way the football that we played, we weren't surprised. I think we deserved to be there because we were by far the better team in the group.
I was in Madrid when all of this was happening, and the FOMO, because the stadiums were absolutely packed. How much did that encouragement from the fans mean to the players, and how did it impact how they played?
It was the first time that many of those players experienced playing in front of such huge
Thousands.
yes, and it was nerve wracking. And for me, to bring calmness to the team and to tell the players not to not to be faced by what they see, but it's impossible because none of them have been in that situation. So for me, it was just very easy to say that they must enjoy the moment because in life this doesn't happen. Not many people get to perform and entertain so many people at the stage in your life. So make the most of these moments, enjoy it while we can, because maybe tomorrow it's gone and it never happens again. So I kind of tried to make the players feel that it was normal and they must just enjoy the experience, the moment. And I'm so proud of every single Kenyan player that was part of the Chan team because they really enjoyed it. Not enjoyed it, they loved it because after every time the goals, when they scored goals, they were going into the crowd and you could just see the interaction between the players and the fans, and it was amazing. And yeah, it was a shame that we weren't able to go to the final or to the semi-final, but to the quarterfinals, and the whole experience was just crazy. Kenya now, it's a footballing country. It's no more athletics. I know they have some big legends in athletics, but Kenya will be known for football, not for athletics.
I love the sound of that. And I know there was a lot of fanfare with the Chan. We saw these players play the best we've ever seen. How do you now balance integrating them into the national team when now all the players from outside Africa come in?
Because obviously the Chan gave them a bigger platform because they play in front of so many fans, and the stage was very high. But now it's time to take it one step further. One step further is you want to take yourself onto a level where you can play in Spain, you can play in England. So this is now the next step for Kenyan players that was playing in Chan. So the intensity of the training sessions become much more demanding and more intensive and really tough. Um, because I think the talent that there is, we can build a really, really good team from local and players that are playing at international level. So it will take time because to go from playing in the Kenyan Premier League to Chan, now to international stage where you play at the AFCON World Cup qualifiers, that is like completely different levels, and the players have to now really make that step up and be brave because it can be a life-changing opportunity for all of them that plays in the local leagues in Kenya, because when you do well at the international stage, you are being looked at La Liga teams and
And some
when
players got contract.
yes, of course, because of their amazing performances that they've had in the Chan. I think seven players got opportunities to go and move abroad and outside Kenya because of the performances in Chan, and now hopefully for the World Cup qualifiers and the AFCON that's yet to come in Kenya that we're hosting in 2027, we'll have way more Kenyan players playing their trades in bigger leagues and better clubs like La Liga and Premier League and the German league.
And, the Kenyan Premier League, you've had that chance to go around and see it. If we're now transitioning to the South African League. We've seen Bafana Bafana, what they can do. Most of the players who've managed to qualify for the World Cup were based, in the South African Premier League. How proud are you of seeing what South Africa has been able to achieve?
Oh, as someone that's played for Bafana Bafana, it's someone that holds many records for the country.
Yeah, arguably the best player for. But you can be humble. You can be
Thank
humble.
you, thank you. I take it. I take it. Um, but yeah, it's my country, like whether I'm 100% for Kenya and I give everything, but deep down inside I will always support Bafana because that's I became who I am playing for Bafana. So yeah, I'm always looking out for them and see how they progressing. And the thing that I'm the most proud of is that they are one of the only countries that has a complete national team built up from local players that plays in South Africa,
Yeah.
and that shows the South African league has progressed so much
Yeah.
that the league is competitive, the league is good, it's strong, and all the players are based in South Africa. So when they go to international level, they are able to then raise their game and live to compete against the international teams, and that's inspiring. So you would hope that Kenya, we can also take from what South Africa is doing well, and we can apply it into our own system, into our own games, make our league a bit more competitive, so that we can also become competitive, having local players and international
Yeah.
players.
And where were you that final game? Those for Bafana Bafana. No one was sure what was going to happen in that group, and it came down to the last day. But finally, Bafana Bafana were able to do it. Where were you in that moment? Take us to where you were when you found out South Africa is back in the World Cup.
Um, I was at home. Actually, I was at home in the UK. And I was watching, but I was on my phone,
Yeah.
and I was keeping a really, really close eye on what's happening because the last time Bafana qualified for a World Cup,
Yeah.
I played. So yeah, and I'm a couple of moons older now. So that's a very, very, very long time, not to qualify. So yeah, I was really rooting for them and hoping that they win, and that Nigeria
Yeah.
beat
Win.
Benin. Because even if South Africa had won,
Yeah.
if Benin beats Nigeria, South Africa is still out.
That was the first time we were seeing the two countries like really love each other on social media, become brothers essentially.
Yes, because I don't know what is this unwanted rivalry between South Africa and Nigeria. We used to be very close.
It's the,
We used
the
yeah,
Twitter, it's the X wars, it's the Twitter
we
wars.
we used to be very close. We used to be supportive, and like I said, for me, it's Africa. I support everything Africa. I'm South African, but if I see anything African there, I support. I encourage. I love because it's my continent. It's I'm proud of that. So I understand when we play against each other, when there's a rivalry on the day of the match, then yes, you support Africa goes out the window. It's me, I support my country, and you support. But after the game, you embrace each other because we're Africans. So yeah, so I'm very surprised of this unwanted rivalry between South Africa and Nigeria. But yeah, but
Now,
I was pleased that Nigeria really taught Benin a lesson because it only opened the door wide open for us just to walk through and qualify for the World Cup.
the last time you were mentioning that you were playing for South Africa when they qualified, are there any similarities you see with your Bafana Bafana side and the current team?
Not really, because our team was based almost all our players were coming from abroad. Everyone was playing for. I was playing in Spain at the time for Celta Vigo. We had Quentin Fortune, Sean Bartlett, Marfis, Lucas Radebe, Aaron Luquena, um, Zuma, Monvete. So all our players were all playing in Italy, in Spain, in England, and Germany and Turkey. So they were playing for big teams. But now all our players are based in South Africa. We have about 3 or 4 players that comes from abroad.
Yeah.
So it's a very domestic national team, but I think it's a very well groomed team. Um, Big talents, lot of players unknown to the world, but they will be known because they are really good. South Africa have a very good young team. So yeah, so I'm excited to see what they will bring.
Final question, Manchester United. You know what's been happening with the team right now. What are your thoughts on Ruben Amorim and how the team has developed and where they're headed?
You know what? I I felt really sorry for the manager, for Ruben, because he came into United at a very difficult time. New ownership, new change of guard, and the team not really performing to the level they should be. But he came in with a clear plan. This was what he wants to achieve, and he stuck by his guns, and he stuck by his philosophy. And I mean, everyone under the sun criticized him. And that is not an easy place to be in when you are criticized and the whole world is watching and judging and casting spells. They will never get it right. The team is no good. But he was probably one of the only people that believed in himself as much. And he's turned things around, and strong character. He must be a crocodile skin to be as strong and stick to his philosophy. And now I'm super proud. I'm super proud that he proved everybody wrong. He believed in his ability, believed in his way, and he's getting Man United back to where they should be. I think it's a process. It will take time. They will not win the Premier League this year, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe next year, from what you've seen over the last 5 matches, if they continue in that path, by next year, I think Man United will be strong contenders or favorites to win the Premier League again. Because they've got a manager who believe in his ability, in his philosophy, and he's letting the players also believe in what he's doing is right, because the players are responding and they're winning matches, and they're beating Liverpool. So beating Liverpool, beating Chelsea, I'm happy with that. That's good progress.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the Ruben Amorim revolution in the near future.
Thank you so much, Benny. I want you to say goodbye to whoever's watching this interview in Kiswahili. I'm challenging you.
You need to teach me this.
You've been in the country longer than I.
Yeah, but
Kwaheri.
when you leave, you make so much progress, and then you leave for 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then you go back to just speaking English. And when I go back to Kenya, then it's like all that, everything that I've learned is kind of gone.
You,
So
I'm sure you're fluent in Spanish. I'm sure after a while you'll be fluent in.
that is my intention. That is my intention. But um,
Yeah.
asante sana
Yeah.
for this
Thank you.
interview. It was really nice. And how do you say
Kwaheri.
kwaheri? Kwaheri.
Kwaheri.